My name is Dr. Jane Goldberg. Welcome to my show, Musings from 20th Street. I am a psychoanalyst, and I am the owner of La Casa de Spa, a holistic health center on 20th Street. Today is the 9th session of I'm beginning to think of it as the Really Real Reality TV group therapy show. So in the last session, I began each session with a little intro of something that kind of strikes my fancy to talk about. Fancy and fantasy, actually. And I got so lost in my rambling last show that I forgot where I was. So I decided today I'm just going to read something because I think I actually write much better than I talk. So I'm going to read from my book, The Dark Side of Love. And I think and talk a lot about love because I think love is really what most of us are so concerned about, either how to get it or how to give it and why we don't have it or why we should have it better. It seems to be a pretty prominent theme in most people's conscious minds. So this section that I'm reading is about love and cooperation. And this is what I said when I wrote this. Cooperation was surely the first form of love. For us to continue to live on this planet, it will need to be the last as well. Passionate and romantic love burn brilliantly, but they risk being consumed by their own intensity. Romantic love cannot last because it places the self at the center of love. Cooperative love may have its beginnings in passion or romance, but for it to survive, the relationship, not the self, must take its rightful place at the center of love. So that's how I want to introduce this 9th session. Let's see where we want to go, guys.
What do you mean by romantic love cannot last?
You know, there was a study that was done by Helen Fisher, who's an anthropologist, and she decided to study monogamy in all the animal species that exist. And there are a few animals that do mate, presumably for life. But what she found is that they don't really mate for life, that they mate for the period of time that the progeny needs to become independent. So in different animal species, that period of time is different. In the animal species, she decided that a 4-year-old kind of has independence and can get around, can feed itself, can talk at that point, ask for its needs. So she got interested in understanding whether or not the 4-year mark is a critical mark in the human species for the existence of romantic love. So she went all over the world, cross-culturally, gathered data to see when the divorce rate peaks, and it peaks in the 4th year. So her conclusion was that this thing that feels like a chemical love, a passionate love, a romantic love in the human species has a life of about 4 years. And then after that, you know, marriages last longer than 4 years, so people can stay together. But they're staying together for reasons other than this chemical attraction. So if that answers your question.
I read of a tribe, I don't know if this is totally accurate, I'm sure I'll be corrected, an Inuit tribe where every 5 years they go in front of a council, and we've been married, and they say, would you like to continue for another 5 years, or would you just like to go your separate ways? And then they make that decision right then and there, and they do it, and every 5 years they're supposed to reevaluate.
That's great.
I saw that.
Yeah, it makes a lot of
Yeah,
sense,
it
right?
does.
I saw that in the movies.
Okay, so it is
It's
a...
called
yeah.
Fast Runner, I think. It was a great movie.
I'm in the mood for romance.
No, I was in a 7-year relationship, and it was after the 4 or 5 month period. Seriously, that I mean, it was more him. I mean, he thought this is the romance period, blah blah blah, and then after that, you work on like the relationship and the spark and all that shit is sort of on the back burner, no pun intended. So it's
That was a
and
quickie.
and it basically kind of happened that way.
You mean you were in a relationship for how long?
7 years.
7 years. And you're saying after 4
After
months,
about 4 or 5 months,
that blush went,
pretty much.
but was it a good 7 years?
No.
So the blush carried you for another 7 years
It
of
did.
hell.
It was about
That is really hell.
it went about 6 months and
Yeah.
I mean, 6 years and 7 months too long.
No, he was looking to
Really?
get it back for 6
I think it was
years.
about 5 years too
How
long.
come? How come you stayed?
We were just kind of dependent in major ways on each other, I think, and I wanted to work. Fell in love.
I think
I
when
wanted to work.
Did you get something good out of it though? I mean, even though.
Yeah, eventually, but it was definitely way too long. It could have ended after 2-3 years.
I'm confused because I have like a friend that's getting like that's been married, that's already married, and they like started dating when they were like 14, right? Okay, and now they're like 27, whatever, and so the 4 years already gone. How come they got married then?
Well,
they didn't
people,
get married at 20. They didn't get married.
people
at
get
18.
married for lots of reasons. People get married for emotional closeness and for financial support and for companionship and for business reasons. You know, all of the marriages of the kings and queens that was all, you know, those were arranged marriages for business reasons. My nation's going to be much stronger because I'm marrying the daughter of the king of the next nation.
Yeah.
So there are extenuating circumstances. Sometimes when you don't live together, that 4 years can be stretched out because you don't have so much satisfaction. I think satisfaction, you know, Freud was an energist, really. He talked about energy and he talked about pleasure and frustration. And, you know, when there's pleasure, you're just kind of relaxed, you know, you feel pretty good. And but then the tension starts building up again and again, and then you need to get more satisfaction. So if you're not living together, you get hungry for each other. So
Yeah.
have they been living together the whole time?
Just recently.
Like, well,
After they plan to get married?
Yeah. Well, I guess my sister
Check-
has
check
2 more
on
years
them.
left. She's getting married. She's been in a relationship 2 years. She's getting married, and now she has 2 more years of her.
One of the problems, though, is that most people will lie.
Yeah.
right.
think-
Long-term
We all want to
relationships,
think.
they really don't.
See what's real.
Yes.
Don't you think it's different at different ages? Like when I was like younger, I was wild and crazy, like totally, and I wanted to do everything, and I did, and I had all these great boyfriends. And then when I got married, I decided I wanted to be married, and I raised my daughter, and I left my husband because I said before, and I told everybody here, it was derogatory the older I got, and I got more creative, and he was just a jerk. And then I said, I've had enough. Now I've been single for 4 years. I do find it a little bit difficult to meet people because I'm a little bit picky. And I want a certain person, but I really want to have some fun. But I'm so evolved. I have no jealousy in my brain or my. I'm not afraid of anyone. I like to have a lot of men friends. That does not mean it's a sexual relationship, and because I'm really confident in myself. Don't you think it's different at different ages for this love and this passion and this romance and that it changes? It's not the same because I feel like I'm so evolved now. I mean, if I meet somebody tomorrow, that's great. And I don't need anything else from them except for this romance in my life.
What do you think, Lillian?
I don't know what she's asking.
Like, I don't want a ring, I don't want a house, I don't want all that.
You just want sex?
Like, I don't want all that jealousy, all that stuff. I just think I want this wonderful romance. That's what I
It's
want in
romance.
my life now, really.
It's
And how
Just
long
a
do you
little
want
bit.
it for?
However long it lasts.
I'm kind of there
Nothing
too,
wrong with
actually.
that.
Because I just, that's what I'm saying. Is
Well,
it
it's
different?
nice.
Is
You've got
it
everything
is it
else.
different
Yeah.
at different
No, it's amazing.
ages?
Yeah.
Yeah. At different ages, you feel
Yeah, at different age, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a 16-year-old doesn't feel the same way as a, 30-year-old.
You would be surprised. No, seriously, I'm way older, and I think that I could have romantic stirrings if the right person came along, and that
Sure,
they would
absolutely.
probably be just as forceful and as demanding on both of us as in the past.
No, she's not talking.
I'm
Were you
not
talking about the
disagreeing with
physical?
that.
Were you
I
talking
don't
about
know
the
what
physical?
you're
I mean the
talking
emotional.
about.
It's not the physical. It's the emotional. It's like
So what? I mean, like it's all intertwined. You can't give on one level and not on the other and have it work. You have to give on all the levels in order to, unless you want to be in denial or you just want to close your eyes and say, "Oh, I'm not going to see that part of that person." You have to be aware of who you're with and who you are too.
And it's a constant challenge. I met my husband when I was 22. Now, and then we started living together then, or maybe younger. Maybe I was 20. We didn't get married until 2 years ago. So we've been together 20 some odd years now. We've been together.
So
And
what
we've had a
happened?
lot of different combinations.
What changed that led you to change the structure of the relationship?
Well, business. He's a painter, and he has a lot of paintings, and he was afraid if something should happen to him, his family was going to come,
Oh.
and he was terrified of that. Did not want that to happen.
He
And-
has a family as hateful as your own.
No, they're a little bit different, but they do have their issues. Yeah, but you can find, Jane, like we talked when I first met Dr. Goldberg. I said, it's funny how an abusive man could go in front of a bar and find the woman that wants to be abused. So you will find each other, and so we did. That's why we met, and that's why we probably stayed together for so long, right?
I'm confused about that statement. Can you repeat that? Because
Whatever's missing in you, you'll find it in another person. Like you'll find a likeness. Like he had
yeah, but
difficulty
you
with his
said an
family.
abusive man in a bar will pick out a girl
A
that
woman.
wants to be
No,
abused?
that a woman that's in that cycle. He can pick it out.
Oh, that has been
Right,
abused.
that-
you
right.
You said wants, so I was like, what?
Oh no, sorry about that. I didn't.
No, I was
kind
confused.
of talking a little
No, yeah.
fast. So we've been together for quite some time, and so it was our second year wedding anniversary, and we wrote each other cards saying, "I hate you so much, and I wish I never married you," and it felt really good. And then we went on.
Don't you think times have changed? I mean, with this theory of romance and everything, especially now in the day and age that we live in, with this, because I asked you this a couple of weeks ago, you never answered me, with men losing their power. I think men are feeling very intimidated by women now more than ever before. I see
the
that.
mic got cut.
Yeah.
You asked me, but then
yeah, but you
someone
never
grabbed the
answered
mic.
me because I can see that because I spent a lot of time on the internet. I'm on internet dating. I'm going to go down in history, trust me. And I'm starting a blog about it. In fact,
No, but my point is that you asked me, but before
Yeah.
I had a chance to answer, someone grabbed the mic, so the
Okay.
conversation went somewhere
Okay.
else.
that's one thing. And the next thing is this switch over into this younger man, older woman thing
Cougar.
that's going on right now. I mean, it's
Yeah.
huge. It's huge.
Cougar.
Cougar.
It
Courtney
makes
Cox,
it-
our cat.
Yeah. And I saw, and I think it's got some really bad consequences because it's allowing women now to go for 18, 19-year-old boys, and they're 35, 40 years old. And even if the role was reversed, I find an inappropriate age gap. And I think it's giving women license or making it sexy and glamorous to be a kind of a pedophile. But that's
Well,
my
you're either
sense of it.
pedophile or
But
not
you
a
can understand
pedophile.
where I'm coming from with that issue.
I don't know if that's kind of a
don't-
pedophile.
I would say a 40-year-old man
What does that
dating-
mean? But what does that mean? Kind of a pedophile.
Playing on that edge. It's
Well,
18.
You're either a
18
pedophile
is
or you're not a
legal,
pedophile.
but 18 is legal.
18 is not being a pedophile.
And a 40-year-old man with an 18-year-old
No.
girl, to me, that's not right.
It's
what-
it's
what-
And
illegal.
reversed is not right either. For me.
I wouldn't go out with an 18-year-old guy. That's a little bit too young for me.
That's pretty young.
That's
However,
too young. I'm not going to be a teacher. But what do you think about men losing their power? Because I think they are.
Men losing their
Yeah.
power?
Yeah.
What kind of power?
Their power to even ask somebody out. I mean, I've been on the computer for 4 years. I'm like the queen of internet dating. Not that I date them. I call it online
remember
dating.
now, I remember.
I
You-
stay online most of the time. I'm online. But I get these letters, and I get letters from all sorts of men, but nobody really wants to do anything. They just want to stay online. They just want to be in that
it's
computer.
a damn computer.
Yeah.
Screws everything
They're
up.
like
it's
afraid.
anonymous. It's anonymous.
Computer screws
Yeah.
everything
They don't
up.
want to go
Makes
out. They
people
don't really
lazy and-
meet you. They don't really want to talk. And when they meet you, they go, "You won't be disappointed." You get there, and it's like,
It's a
"Hello,"
computer, man.
you know. They're totally different than the image that they say they were. And nobody really wants to have sex. Can I tell you that? And trust
That's
me,
true.
I know
That's
they
crazy.
don't
I
really
know.
want to
I just
have
find everything that
sex.
you're saying.
They
No,
just,
you're right.
that is true. I've been on it for 4 years. I've had thousands of letters, like you can't even believe.
Two sides of the coin here. Men don't want to have sex. I never heard that.
Oh yeah, they don't want to have sex.
Well,
They do not want to have sex.
The computer age is enabling this. It is. The computer age, I think, is enabling this.
They
That's
don't
what
want to
she's
have.
saying.
Yeah, they don't want
That's
to have
what's
sex.
keeping
I
men
have
from
had
having
dates
so much
from the
power.
internet. They want sex.
Well, it depends. It depends. Some of them want sex, and I don't want sex with them. But a lot of them do not
A lot
want
of
to have
them don't.
sex.
Lena,
Trust
I
me.
agree with that.
I never heard of
I'm
those.
uncomfortable when you talk about sex. I don't know
Why?
if
I
anybody
love
else
it.
is.
Why?
I don't know.
I'm not uncomfortable
I just
at
feel
all.
uncomfortable.
I dig it.
Sorry.
Completely into
you're
it.
certainly entitled to
Okay.
I don't want you to stop. I'm just saying.
I'm gonna
That's
do.
amazing.
Can I tell you?
No.
My wish is to do a whole stand-up comedy on internet dating and this whole thing because I think it's so unbelievable. I really do.
That's a
And
great
I think your
idea.
cleavage is
Yeah.
a little low too.
Yeah, my mother we grew up like this. My daughter's like this. My sisters are like this. We show our cleavage and our nipples. We're comfortable with ourselves. You know, I mean, absolutely.
Something.
That was my family. I grew up in a
That's just
background
something you
where
wouldn't do.
this is my
Something you wouldn't do.
cultural background.
It's great
And-
to look at.
And I'm covered up today. Can I tell you? I'm
Great to
covered
look
up.
at.
Well, I think
Great
it's an
cleavage, man,
attention
show it.
getting. I think it's an attention.
No.
I think it's a misplaced thing in a situation that doesn't require that. You don't go if you're going to a swimming pool. You dress a certain way. If you're going to group therapy, you dress a certain. You have a
Really?
certain respect for the situation.
I think it's a
You know what I
comfort
mean?
zone within your own
So my-
body, and my mother was like this. My sisters are like this. My daughter is like this. None of us feel like we're showing cleavage. We're being ourselves,
You
and
got
we're
it, girl.
comfortable.
Flaunt it.
Absolutely.
No, but this
Some people
is
think
how
I wear
we
my pants
are.
too
This
tight,
is
but
how
I'm
we
still gonna
are.
wear
That
them.
doesn't make me. I could wear a turtleneck. I could wear a turtleneck, and it's the same thing.
I
but-
like wearing my pants tight.
Okay, let me get through with this
Yeah.
one first, because I
But if I
don't
grew-
want to. What I'm saying
I
is I don't
grew
want to
up
argue
this
with you
way.
because I understand. I'm just saying that it does make me a little uncomfortable. Makes me a little uncomfortable when you talk about sex, and to show that much boob in a group therapy thing, is just I think it's a little inappropriate.
I do this on a daily basis, but I grew up this way. This is my background. I'm
I
never
gotta
going to
get used to
change.
it.
What is Dr. Goldberg think? I would like to know.
I'd like to know what Regan thinks.
Ah,
You think I wear my pants too tight?
I think
Yes,
that
I do.
I
think
I know
think
you
I
do.
think that you look so good. I think that everyone looks the way that they want to look. So whatever.
Yeah,
I
if
mean,
you're comfortable in your own body.
Whatever. You chose to wear that. That's your style. She chose to wear that. That's her style. I chose to wear this. Is my style. So whatever. We're each different human beings. Get over it.
No,
No, Reagan. I think there are appropriate places to wear certain things. Well,
I
why
think-
why don't you then take that theory one step further and show up in a bikini?
But I think you.
Because-
you-
And then
I
just
think-
say, get
I think-
over it.
I think
Because I'm not going to show up in a bikini because I don't want to. If I wanted to, I will.
I like that you're comfortable with your body,
Yeah, I do.
and
too.
I like that you're critical of how comfortable she is. That she's a little too comfortable in your mind.
Well, yeah, I think that there are just places that you wear certain things and places you don't go to church certain
we
ways.
didn't grow up.
There are
I didn't.
do's and
My
don'ts in
culture.
this society.
My
I believe
culture.
that.
And
Can I tell you,
believe it
my
too.
culture
And I
was.
like to
And I
respect
think that
those
people
things.
should be respected on the basis of what they're attending. You don't go to a wedding in jeans and stuff
Right,
like
right,
that.
right.
Well, who
You
said
show
this
res-
was a place to be? I mean, I
We're-
don't
we're
get to
talking
cover
about-
up.
Well, it's not a sex therapy group.
She's not exuding
But I'm not-
sex.
it's
She's just
not
a nice
sex.
person.
We're
million
just talking about
I'm
society.
talking about sex.
Okay,
Everybody
wait,
has to
let-
talk about their own thing.
Yeah, I
I'm
agree.
talking about sex. That's a
I'm-
real issue for me.
And she could talk about sex. She's got a turtleneck on. I mean,
uh,
she's still going to talk about it.
I'd like to share my feelings. I think everybody is understandably where they're at, including Kay, who shared with us in a previous session that she was violated by her brother in so many ways. So of course, it's understandable that Kay would feel what she's saying is true. But what I wanted to say to Kay, and maybe I'm wrong, is that I think it's okay to, at some point, and I'm thinking of music therapy, of being a music therapist, but that it's okay at some point to communicate to your family about how bad they were.
Oh no, I do that in my writing. I am.
Right,
I
but
give
that they
your
can actually
suggestion,
get the
which is
writing,
really
that
good.
they can actually.
Well, maybe if I.
And so, and there's another thing in terms of dating and whatever, I want to bring it up to the group. Like you say, you meet people the way I meet people, you know, we have the choice, oh, do I tell this person everything I've been through and what's happened? And I think it's kind of sad that we can't maybe we should take the chance, maybe for 20 people that walk away because they don't want to hear my story, but that's reality. There'll be one person that will commiserate and will share their similar pain, and then that leads to intimacy, I have found. So I have a very high rejection rate if I try to speak the truth, but that is the truth, and I don't want to have to deceive people. So, and I'm wondering if you could think that way. You say when you meet people, maybe 20 people don't want to hear it, but maybe one person out of 20
Right.
that will lead to intimacy. And as for men, I think sex. I think the people are looking for love more than they're looking for sex, and we live in a very.
Are we okay, Lana? I'm not
No.
criticizing it. I'm not
I'm
telling you
fine.
not to wear it.
I'm fine.
I'm
Can I
just
tell you?
telling you-
Because this is my life, and this
Because
is.
this is, but you didn't you weren't this low cut for all the sessions.
Can I
and
tell
it's
you,
been falling
I
out.
grew up in an ethnic background that we
I know,
loved
but why
our
didn't you wear
body.
this the first time?
I could wear this every day because we all do this in my
I
family.
think you're doing
We've
this
never
for the,
had
I think
any.
You're doing this for the cameras. a
Can
little
I
bit.
tell you? Why don't you look at my website and see real cleavage, okay? Because I'm
what
covered.
it-
I am
Yeah.
covered up today, okay? 100%. My sister shows her nipples. This was how we grew up.
Okay, can
We
I-
don't have anything wrong with. We think our body. We wear what we feel comfortable
Okay,
with.
am I wrong? Please,
I don't even
everybody
own
correct me,
covered up
please.
clothes.
Correct me if I'm wrong. For the last 8 sessions that we've been together, your cleavage was not as revealing as it specifically is today.
What
If
is
I'm
the
wrong,
problem
So
with
let
you
me
with my
let me
cleavage?
ask the quiet.
Pretty weird. I don't
What
get
is
this
it?
whole
I'm gonna-
fascination with it.
I want to ask the quiet side of the
You
room.
don't. You think
What do
it's
you
terrific.
what do you think this
I think that
what do you think the dispute is really about?
I have
Yeah,
no
what
idea.
is-
What is really going on here?
Lonnie's cleavage.
No, really, what?
I can't even
Really?
see your cleavage.
well, my real knee-jerk reaction to the whole thing is that everybody should be able to dress however they want
Thank you.
without feeling criticized. Just like show up and be comfortable.
I
And
know
we're
that.
Well,
really
I
comfortable.
do think everybody should be able to dress the way they want,
But
and that
you're-
is the beauty of Western culture. But I also think everybody should be able to feel the way they want,
Yeah.
and that is also
Yeah.
the beauty
And we're-
of
So
we're
Western
feeling
then,
culture.
that.
okay, what if back to like the first couple
But-
of
but-
sessions when
but-
you were
But your attempt, though you may feel critical and feel controlling and want to, redress her, it's you're not going to be successful.
Not
No, no.
So
absolutely
all
not.
you can do is have your feelings.
Right, absolutely.
But you're
And
not-
I don't want to make
Yeah.
her feel
I think
bad or
that she
have her stop.
she just wants to talk about what is or isn't appropriate.
Yeah, that's all I want to.
That's
talk
all.
No,
about.
no.
I'm 50 years old. I've lived
No.
my life this way.
Wait,
She can only
I know, Anna, I
she
heard
can
you.
only talk
I
about
heard
what she
you.
feels is
Is
appropriate.
appropriate.
I do have something to say.
What, Carol?
Maybe this is some meat here. The first group we had or two, when you really felt caring about her and
Mhm.
wanted her to be with a man who really appreciated her because
Yeah.
you thought she was just great.
Yes, I do, and I
she
still
didn't
do.
have- I know. She didn't have cleavage.
Her cleavage was not down
Maybe-
here
right.
at that
maybe,
moment.
Maybe you thought that she would. Maybe you imagined the man in her life to be a certain kind of man who today would not go for her.
For her, because
You know,
she has to
Maybe
believe it.
that's
Yeah.
really
Maybe
very
that's part of
intuitive,
it.
and that I'm not
I'm
saying
so
no.
confused. What?
That could be that's very intuitive of you. That I would want her to attract a man
I think Kay
without coming all out.
Kay
That
has an
I would be
unconscious
respectful.
desire to be a matchmaker for Lana.
That's what we were talking about. Yeah, that's it. That's a
I
possibility.
process things a little slow.
Interesting. But I do like what she said too. I really do like things to be appropriate. I like to know when I go to church, what outfit to wear. To wear what you wear to a wedding, what you wear when you go to a French restaurant.
But
what wear.
if you have a history where basically it was the Wild West, where there were no rules and boundaries were being crossed on a continuous basis, I think that structure and containment
Yeah,
and limitations become very important
safety.
for.
They make me feel safe.
Yeah.
I feel safe to know
Yeah.
that
drives
I'm
me
not going to
nuts.
wear,
I wouldn't walk down the street next to her if I were you.
right.
It may be too dangerous.
Okay.
Give Dee the job. He doesn't care about the
But you were
danger.
saying appropriateness, you
No,
like
no,
that
no.
too, right?
I think that you have to have rules in a
I
society.
think
that you
America
have to
is a
follow
really
them, too, if
uptight
you wanna
country.
be
I
I
agree
really
with that.
do.
That's what
We
it
are
is.
so
Bonafide
uptight.
member.
We want to see the
Absolutely.
plastic breasts on TV,
Absolutely.
okay? We want to see all that crap. We want to like peek in a little dirty magazine. We want to do all this. There's so many
Because-
people with so many issues, but when you want to be a woman, go to Spain and see how the women wear their pants tight and show their breasts.
Absolutely.
Nobody looks at them twice. Go to Sweden. They're half naked in the summertime. They're like running around the guys with their pants off on boats, and the Americans sit there with their like
Okay,
this.
so
you know?
Lana, I want to ask Andre, so you voting for cleavage, against cleavage, or not voting?
We're so uptight
Cleavage.
in this country.
Cleavage is a wonderful thing, but yes, there are places for it and not. What makes me a little concerned is what's and I understand, given your background, that sex talk and this would be a little make you feel uncomfortable. But I'm a pretty unconventional kind of a thinker and feeler and all this other kind of thing. So it doesn't bother me at all. So I'm just wondering about what's comfortable for folks in the room. What are the areas you can actually get into without
Right. Like I'm kind of hurt, Leanna, that you would want to make me feel uncomfortable.
I'm not
I don't know.
making you
Next week is it
uncomfortable.
going to be off? Because
Why
that-
are you
that would
feeling
make me very-
uncomfortable
You think she
about
did this for
me?
you?
This
You think
is
she
who
wore this for
I
you?
am.
No, she-
Okay,
oh,
so,
I-
guys-
that I'm sure she did not.
She
Group,
didn't.
so I started
What about
this
you?
session talking about cooperative love. So could we have a very brief discussion of, would it be cooperative of Lana to abide by your wishes and come with less cleavage, or would it be cooperative of you to accept Lana with
Okay.
cleavage down to her belly
I
button?
could accept Lana
This
with,
is
with,
down
with
to my
what
belly
she has
button?
now, but if she
No,
gets
thanks.
lower next week, I'm going to be more uncomfortable.
There's a third alternative, though. And the way I see it, and I think I'm close to the subject, is that, Kay, I feel that in due time, when you're able to externalize your feelings towards your disappointing brother, mother, and the people in your family, if you're able to bring closure to that, it wouldn't
have.
matter how much cleavage a Latina is wearing or whatever.
Latina.
I can't see. I
Lana.
guess.
Lana.
Lana, well, okay. In other
pretty
words,
cool,
what I'm
man.
saying is that the more
like
you'll
a
be
drag,
able to
man, but-
express that to your family, that won't be an issue.
No,
for
if we
you.
were going to a nightclub, it would be different.
Yeah, I think it will lessen.
Oh, you should see me in a nightclub.
I'm not sure that Kay actually likes your idea or believes your idea, but anyway, it is a really interesting idea.
Can-
And or
can-
not.
Lana, is it possible that it doesn't get lower for next time?
Can I just tell you? Why don't you please look at my website? I am not making any show. This is who I
I know,
am.
but is it
My
just-
entire life. My
Um,
mother was like this. My
Lana?
daughter is
That's
like
not
Lana?
cooperative.
We're going
That's
to
not
end the session on the note of Lana's cleavage.
I can't wait to tell my
Thank,
sister this.
thank you guys for a good group,
Thanks.
and we're all going to be dreaming about Lana's cleavage tonight,
Oh my God.
for better or
I
worse,
can't
and whether
even
we
see
want
the
to or not.
cleavage.
It's
Well,
good.
move closer.